Welcome to the Scouting Expedition podcast, courtesy of the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. This is more than just a podcast, it's an adventure cast. Here we'll share stories and insights about the lifelong adventure, real-world grit, and personal growth only found through scouting here in the Cascade Pacific Council. We'll have guests here indoors, but also head outdoors to meet those that make the Scouting Expedition come to life for thousands of local youth here in Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington. Each episode will start with the latest news, reminders, and important deadlines for our families, scouts, leaders, and volunteers, so you can just take a quick listen or watch in a way that's convenient for you. Then we'll dive into the topic of the day. So let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to today's edition of the Scouting Expedition podcast. My name is Chris Bartel. I'm the Director of Marketing and Innovation here at the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America, and we're really excited today to share some Eagle Scout stories from a couple of our Eagle Scout Scholarship winners and their parents, actually. This is going to be a great show today. I think you're really going to enjoy hearing their stories. But first, of course, we're going to go into the news piece here, because for those of us who are in the Cascade Pacific Council, they receive an email newsletter every week. And so what we'd like to do at the beginning of our podcast is give our folks an easy way to digest all of the great things that are going on here in the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. And so we basically cover a little news segment here from the weekly newsletter so that folks like you can just read or watch whatever you like and try and give you information in a way that you like to digest it, whether it's audio or video. And so here we basically are going over the latest news from the Compass Points email newsletter. So let's dive into it, shall we? Of course, we like to first start off every episode, as well as remind you to start off every scouting expedition with a safety moment. And you can find a ton of resources for safety moments. So this is our safety moment to remind you about safety moments and the resources you can get at scouting.org. There are literally more than 100 of these safety moments that they have posted here, that the Boy Scouts of America has posted for safety moments for your unit meetings or whatnot, and they are fantastic. They cover every single kind of event, activity you can absolutely imagine. It's a great resource, so check that out at scouting.org. All right, let's dive into the latest news here around the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts of America. First of all, we want to mention, as we mentioned in the last podcast, we really teased it up here, is that we are starting up a new fall campaign here for to welcome new families into scouting. And did you know that September is National Preparedness Month? That's right. And we figured, we should really probably own that and run with that here in the Boy Scouts of America, since our motto is be prepared, and prepared for life is the slogan we like to use. And why not teach preparedness to our community? So what we have here is a new campaign that's going to be happening in September. But for those of you in the CPC, you will have received an email about not just this campaign, but also a fundraising opportunity for Scout units and the 3 weeks of plug and play open house programs that have been developed with volunteers and with the council and our team here, and it's really going to be great. It's simple for you to be able to plug and play these fun programs around first aid and preparedness and tee up things like the 6 essentials and 10 essentials. So it's going to be really great. So check that out there in your Compass Points email newsletter. Another important item we want to remind folks as we kind of head into summer and whatnot, and all the activities, of course, we do here in the Boy Scouts of America, is that any adult who wants to attend these activities, overnight activities, you've got to be registered, you've got to complete youth protection training, and you need to have your criminal background check approved. So you've got to do that before you go on any outings that are overnight. And just know that this could take a while. It could take 5 business days up to 30 business days. So you can't wait till the last minute. You can't just show up at summer camp and go like, oh yeah, I guess I'll sign up as a member. You actually have to do it ahead of time. Unless you, of course, you're doing this with your own Cub Scout. There are some exceptions there if you're going on an overnight with your kiddos as Cub Scouts. And so that information, again, is in the email newsletter. A couple of save the dates we want to remind you of is that our council annual business meeting is on May 22nd, and it's going to be in person and online. Also, the Council Court of Honor is on June 9th at Oaks Park. Going to be a super fun event, kind of an open house where we're going to invite the community and have lots of activities. It's going to be a great time, as well as, of course, hand all the awards that we do every year. We also want to let you know that there is a job opening here in the Cascade Pacific Council. If you want to help kids get outdoors, grow in grit, and become tomorrow's leaders, by golly, why not join us on our mission here? We need a part-time member support specialist there at the front desk and helping out with a variety of activities here in the council office. And so we do need this help as soon as possible. This is a job opening for anyone who wants to apply. And that information, you can actually send your resume to info@cpcbsa.org if you're the right fit and you're not actually a member of the Cascade Pacific Council and are not receiving our newsletter. That information is also on our website at cpcbsa.org. Another quick reminder is the Camp for All unit deadline to hit your goal is coming up here on May 31st. So if you want to receive a 5% discount or a 5% Scout Shop gift card on the amount that you've raised with your Scout unit for the Camp for All campaign, you can actually finish that campaign up by May 31st, and you'll receive that as well as a ribbon for your unit flag and free weekend camping at council camps. Fantastic opportunity to help kids get outdoors and get every Scout to camp with scholarships and things like that Camp for All supports. We also want to remind you of the Memorial Day flag placement, where we as Scouts and families and friends all have this amazing opportunity to plant 180,000 flags at the Willamette National Cemetery. It is just a wonderful, wonderful evening. And this year we want to remind you that it is actually happening on Friday. That's Friday, May 24th. Usually it's been happening on Thursdays, but this year it's on Friday, and that may change from here on out for a variety of reasons. But this is actually a 56-year tradition. So we just want to remind folks who have been doing this with us for years and years, if not decades, that it is happening on Friday instead of Thursday. We also want to remind you that camp work weekends are underway at a variety of camps. If you're interested in swinging a hammer and helping out at our camps, there are a variety of those happening before we head into summer camp. One of the fun things we have ongoing is our climbing committee is having climbing days, indoor and outdoor. These are fantastic opportunities to learn about climbing and knots and how to create a safe climbing activity for your Scout unit, whether you're in Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA. And we just want to thank the climbing committee for doing this for us and for doing this for our members. They're really passionate, and they'll teach you how to do this safely and have a heck of a lot of fun. We also want to let you know about Camp Cooper is having an insect study. That's right, Camp Cooper is a beacon of biodiversity. And so we're doing a study here about bugs of all things. There have been studies done on plants and birds there at Camp Cooper, but now it's all about bugs. And so you can reach out to our ranger there, Aaron Yoder, and he'll give you all the information. Great time to go out there and go camping with your Scout unit and be a part of this insect study. Here's another fun thing that's happening at another camp. It is actually, and here is a fun new activity that's happening at Camp Pioneer at the end of summer on August 12th through 16th. It is called Throne Quest. It is the Cascade Chronicles Throne Quest. It is going to be all about tabletop gaming, role-playing games, trading card games, and more, as well as a live-action Throne Quest adventure. It is going to be a hoot, and we're jokingly calling it Geek Week, where you can play games and have a lot of fun, as well as work with a patrol to have a quest for the throne. It is a fantastic opportunity. You can see that on the website as well. Some training events we want to remind you of is that if you're interested in starting a fishing program in your Scout unit, we have an angling educator training happening on May 18th. And this is a great opportunity to learn fishing skills, how to run fishing activities and whatnot for your Scout unit or your district or council events. And it's a great opportunity. It's, again, happening on May 18th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And here's a fantastic training opportunity for youth ages 13 and up. It is called National Youth Leadership Training. This is an incredible course. You actually have 3 weeks you can choose from June, July, or August. It's all happening at Camp Baldwin. These are week-long trainings that are, they are adult-level, career-level training about leadership. It is fantastic. It is super fun, and you can find out all about that, as well as see some great videos on our website at cpcbsa.org/NYLT, and you'll be able to hear more about just the impact that NYLT, National Youth Leadership Training, has on our Scouts. We also want to let you know about the upcoming wilderness first aid courses that are available for youth 14 and up and adults. This is an awesome opportunity to learn how to be prepared for the great outdoors with hands-on training that meets BSA requirements, and they can modify the classes for your needs, for your upcoming adventures. There are 2 opportunities and 2 weekends happening in June, so check that out. We also have a fantastic opportunity for families for family camping. Reservations are now open at Camp Clark, and you can actually reserve spaces between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Just a wonderful, beautiful place to have pretty much a private beach where you and your family, and there are tide pools, and it's in the forest. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful there, and you will absolutely love it. A great opportunity to go camping there with your family. Some other partner events we want to let you know about is that in May, we have the Alaska Airlines Aviation Day happening on May 11th. We also have a Scout Night with the Hillsboro Hops happening on May 24th. We have another baseball opportunity, the Volcanoes versus the Senators. This is the Mavericks League. They are having a couple of Scout Nights on June 28th and August 9th. Also, the Portland Timbers are going to have our first ever Scout Night with the Portland Timbers. That's happening on August 24th. That's going to be a fantastic time, and we're actually going to be working with them to announce our National Preparedness Month event and campaign. So that's going to be really, really fun. And that's it for the news update for today. I am super, super excited today to bring in a couple of Eagle Scouts who have won our scholarships. And for those of you who want to learn more about Eagle Scout scholarships, make sure you check it out on our website. There is a page for that. Just look in the navigation and you'll find out more about scholarships for Eagle Scouts. There's an interesting timing there, so you'll want to check that out. And we this year gave away 5 scholarships. And today we have 2 Eagle Scouts who are going to be chatting with us, as well as some of their family members too. And I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Let's start the show. Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody. And today we have the Diankoff family. I'm super excited to, everybody waves. I'm super excited to have them here. Kaeley is one of our scholarship winners for the Eagle Scout Scholarship. She was actually the top winner this year. Very exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
Well, welcome, everybody. How about you all introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit. First, let's talk about where you're from and how the heck did you get into scouting?
Sure. I'm Lisa, and I was a Girl Scout. My mom was the leader for both my sister and I, and I also had my girls in scouting since they were little. I have 2 girls. And then my son, when he started, we got into Boy Scouts, which is my first exposure to Boy Scouts because we were only girls in the family. And my daughter, especially my youngest, was very much excited about the path that Boy Scouts was taking my son on, and she wanted to participate as much as she could when they let her. And so we've always been in Scouts and have enjoyed it. Great experiences.
Well, I'm Kaeley. I particularly remember sitting down in my brother's scouting meeting, hanging out with the girls in the back, and we would have like these little like design sketch pads, and we would like put clothes on the women, and then we'd also like look at the meeting, and play games. But I think I mostly remembered like the car races. Those were so fun. And then hearing my dad and my brother make these cars and have them race. I was
Pinewood Derby.
Yeah, I think that was what initially got me hooked. Was just the community I saw there.
Yeah, the camaraderie, putting things together.
Yes.
And then introduce yourself, and were you in Scouts?
I'm Peter Diankoff. I was into Explorers with the LAPD at the time. I was very young, and I wanted to. My dad gave me a hard time about joining stuff, and so I just went off on my own. I wanted to get into Boy Scouts. There was something that didn't quite go well with the family, so it was just always other leadership roles and things like that, and just an influence with electronics and getting involved in the community and other things. I was always interested and curious about technology and marketing, advertising, so it's kind of funny that you do this stuff now. And I did really well with graphic design and art and things like that. So you touch upon a little bit of everything. Your kids are there, you're just kind of distilling this information and showing them how to do things, and they're learning with you. It's just stuff they pick up eventually, being a handyman around the house, maybe picking up, hey, I could do this. And my daughter would always come up to me, Kaeley would come up to me and just say, how does this work? What are you doing? How are you fixing the socket? Or for the electrical on the wall and show me this is a screwdriver, this is a wrench, this is, this is a Phillips screwdriver, this is a flathead screwdriver. She's just very interested and, wanted to pick up and start doing things on her own too. So it's kind of fun growing up with kids. Three of them.
Yeah.
Kaeley kind of took off.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were born here then, or were you in California? Was it?
Californian.
You start Scouts then in California.
Yeah.
So I started in Scout. I was initially going to join Ventures when I came of age, but right when that happened, Scouts of America decided women could join the program. And I actually already knew a lot of the boys in Scouts because I was so close to them growing up. So I already knew the troop I would join, and I had some friends who joined me, and we created our own troop. There's only 3 of us, so our name, patrol name was the Three Musketeers, of course. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, we just started from there. We started from scratch, so we needed like our banners, and I actually was not able to go to the scout camp because it would actually get so fast after. But yeah.
Right. So So COVID hits, and then what did you guys do then? What did you guys do during COVID? Like, how did you guys handle that?
So the majority of it we decided to have online. So we created Zoom, we used FaceTime as well. And we did a lot of like community service things. We would like print out color sheets and we would color them and fill a note on them and send them up to, maybe hospitals or charities for younger kids, or even sometimes we did like police people. We have fun little flags and stuff that we colored.
And then they would do outside activities.
Yeah.
They would be at parks and so they could still see each other, but be in.
Yeah, we had to wear masks. I remember we did one of the hikes during COVID. It wasn't really a hike. We just walked around the neighborhood.
And when did you guys move up here then?
During COVID. So I was fortunate. So she was able to still keep in touch with the kids down in California, but at the same time start life here. And then she found Troop through looking online.
I could not wait.
And so then she did both, the one in California and Washington at the same time.
I think it was Balboa.
But she was in Girl Scouts at the same time. So she found a troop out here too, and she had her troop in LA. So she was in 4 troops at one time.
Just kind of blend together.
But like they all provided their own little, and then also the fact that it's COVID, it was still easy to manage that part of it. Still keep, all the relationships because you were home all the time.
Yeah.
But it got definitely more difficult as, COVID opened up. And
COVID wasn't completely negative. There's some positive things that came out. Being able to be remote even, and with the colleges and stuff are getting work done through Girl Scouts.
And what I enjoyed was I actually got to see her participate in her high school classes and stuff like that. Hear the teachers while I was working.
Oh my goodness.
That was,
we were sitting on a Zoom meeting, and this is when I was in California because I was actually
going to school here.
Going to school here, but in California before we moved. And I remember having our fireplace in the back, and then somebody asked me, like, "Oh, it's a nice fireplace." I'm like, "Yeah, it's in California." And they're like, "You're in California?" I was like, "Yeah."
And
the waterfall.
It was raining here.
Oh yeah,
And she showed the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make them feel that.
That is impressive. 4 scout units you're involved with. Wait, 4 plus Girl Scouts, or was it?
That was 4
altogether. 2 and 2 because 2
Scout troops and 2 Boy Scouts.
Oh my God! And again, it was Balboa Oaks was for the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And like here is the Cascade chapter. Yeah. So that's
Yeah, and then she would bounce to California for the summer, so we wouldn't see her at all because she would be involved with the troops there.
Or NYLT. NYLT. And what was the other one? It was a Emerald Bay, Catalina Island. And just coordinating. I remember trying to how she just did so much on her own. She would coordinate.
Well, the NYLT actually, she went and participated, and she really loved it, so she wanted to be the leader the next year, and that's when COVID hit, so they had to delay till the year after, and that's when we already moved. So we made it so that she could get there. She did some Zoom classes with them, and try to keep up with the pace, but they had to do like a modification for you.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Well, but you still had to go through the binder. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. But then, so when she was at the MLT, they were still looking for counselors for Emerald Bay to help out because of COVID, they were short staffed.
There's a lot of ups and downs to
Yeah.
this, and she just, I remember her truth, and she just went through it all. She just, no matter what, nothing kind of held Kaeley back. Kaeley, when she's determined, she will keep going. I think all of us do that. We just all persevere and we get through.
But she was only supposed to be in California for a couple of weeks, and she ended up staying the whole summer.
Well, yeah, like,
That's
we went for NYLT, and then they were like, Emerald Bay, and I'm like, Emerald Bay? Whoa.
the second one.
Yeah, and so I went to go work over there very last minute, super underprepared for my clothes.
Well, just
Yeah, I was only planning to stay there for, I think, 2 weeks. So there was like a mentorship program that for younger staff would go to, but I didn't have enough time to do that. So I was put into already in another station. But I ended up staying much longer because I loved it so much. And the funny thing was that this was my first summer camp experience because COVID had cut that off from me. So I worked my first summer camp.
And it's really,
Okay, yeah, that was my first summer camp. And then I actually had my real participation in the camp with my LA trip. We went to Bighorn in California, and that was pretty fun.
Well,
okay, so then you eventually moved up here and you joined a troop here. And what was different? What's it like scouting up here versus down there?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, when I was in California, I was just starting out as a scout. So a lot of it was initial, we're making our banners, we're learning what scout is like and all these merit badges, requirements, and kind of just figuring out and understanding how the program works. But after COVID, and then I moved over here, I kind of knew all these things already, so I didn't feel like fresh meat. And I kind of understood the process and I was able to transition much easier. I will say, like, one thing was I was so connected with the boys in my old troop that it was hard coming up here and not know, and being in such a bigger troop too, and kind of feeling a little bit of a disconnect. It's so big, I couldn't talk to other boys, or like the girl was small, so that was easy, but I couldn't, talk to them.
And what's it been like being a girl and a largely boy? What's that experience been like for you?
It's kind of interesting. I don't know, because in my old troop, I kind of felt very, what's the word? Like coming from money.
I'm not going to say tomboy, but she gets along because.
Well, yeah, but
you were
just like I felt like I felt like my old troop, we were like really blended in, and there wasn't any difference.
Yeah.
And our genders, we were just all scout.
You do what the boys do.
But I feel like when I moved up here, it felt a little more separated just because there was such a massive amount of boy patrols, and then there's only 2 girl patrols. So I think I felt definitely more of a divide. So
I think also she had relationships with the kids at her old troop before scout.
Yeah.
So she knew them, and versus this was scout and just getting to know people.
Yeah. New people.
Yeah.
And what did you guys do in terms of for the girls, for your girl patrols? What did you plan things differently? How did you sort of set that up?
In California, we were more involved with each other. Like, we did things all together. But I think when COVID happened, we started to divide more, and we did things more as a troop. For the girl troop, let's go do this. So I think that was a big factor over there. But when I moved over here, I feel like a lot of the activities I do in my new troop are all together. There's no like particular like, you guys are the boys troop or the girls troop. We're gonna be separate. We're gonna go do our own city service, our own camping, and this and that. I look at that.
Okay, and I see like a plethora of merit badges here. So how many of you actually earned in total?
I think about it. It's 49. 49?
I think so. I think it's 49. She actually earned more, but she's misplaced blue cards.
Well,
and I've been telling her to reach out to people to get them because she's one away from them.
Look for old emails, look for letters.
all the merit badges I earned were like right during the COVID.
Yeah.
And those were all the ones that got lost. So
in the move, I know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's one if I could find it in some box.
What were some of the hard ones? What were some of the easy ones? What are some that really maybe impacted you? Or
Yeah, so I think one of the best ones I took was life-saving when I went to Bighorn. I actually could not stay the full week because I was having a Girl Scout trip, my final trip. So I left. I had to leave early, but this team, the people helped me get through the life-saving badge so quickly and so fast. I would come in during pre-session and then we get right onto it and complete it. And I just felt super honored to have people like this. I had worked at a summer camp, so I understood, how hard and difficult it is to, spare time to help scouts. So it was very nice of them to help me out in that way. Yeah.
what have been some of the, I guess, more arduous and more difficult ones, if you will?
Well, her last summer camp, I went with her, which I normally don't go to camp.
I made her come to fishing. I can come, sleep at my camp. But I took fly fishing class, and it was a dual one. It was fly fishing and fishing merit badge together. And they said, if you catch a fish with the fly fishing rod, that will count for both the merit badges. So I don't know much. I've lived in a family that loves to fish, but I am no fisher. So I think it was 2 nights. We woke up super early. Well, we oh my goodness. I would make my mom wake up at 4 a.m. before the camp even started, just so that we could get the 9th hour where the flyers are going and the fish are out to catch this fish. I'd have to.
And then, of course, they kept getting stuck.
Yeah, I kept getting stuck.
And I would have to fish it out of the whatever it got stuck of.
Oh my goodness. And I think it was within my last try.
Before we were going to be.
Yeah, right before we were leaving, I finally caught a fish.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a big fish. It was a fish.
It counted, right?
Counted. And I just, as soon as I caught it, my hand was on it, and I screamed.
You cried.
I'm fishing.
But now you were
I was crying. I have it all.
I was crying too. I took a lot of difficult merit badges, but oh my goodness, this one was unbelievable.
Yeah, well, she also challenged herself, but she did, 9
merit badges in 1 week, yeah.
So eventually, not just a fisher, kid made Fisher Scout.
9 merit badges in 1 week.
I think it's my last summer camp. I might as well get as much as I want done. And I worked at a summer camp before, so I kind of knew you could get merit badges, smaller wise done during your free session. So every free session, I would just go to a easy merit badge that I knew, and I would get it done.
Okay, so no slacking, people. That they free merit badges.
The canoeing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So
It's okay to wake your parents up really early in the morning.
Yeah, so I guess so for the waterfront there was rowing and kayaking. And I got the kayaking done. I don't think I actually had this especially. It was extra. This is extra, and I asked if I could do it. I also prepared a lot of it beforehand, the written thing and lecture, just so I could, get the actual physical things done. So I did the kayaking. And then after that, I asked him, the merit badge counselor, can I do the rowing with maybe invite some of my friends to join me? Because, it's rowing, you can have multiple people. And he was like, I don't know, it doesn't work. Cause
they were short-handed.
They just, people. But
yeah, so then we begged all the parents to come help and watch. So, and you can see, end up getting it. But last minute too.
Very last minute.
Well, that's actually a good pro tip, though. So for summer camp, we got to prep. If you prep a bunch of, do a lot of work up front.
I was telling a lot of the people on the trip with me, if you can get these merit badges done during free session, you don't have to just be limited to the 3 you choose. You can go and use those free sessions.
Yeah, you got a few of the kids to do.
I did. I actually did. I got a couple of them to do basket. A lot of the craft merit badges are super simple to get done, and you can even take it back and do it overnight or something, because a lot of it's just making baskets with the supplies or a lot of it you can definitely do. It's not something difficult. You just need to spend the time on it.
And we know all the scouts work really well together. So you guys all,
Yeah,
that's really.
Well, Peter, you talked about, mentioned perseverance, as I like to say, grit, right? That resilience. And so tell me, what have you seen, and Kaeley, what have you seen her do? Has she changed at all what's this experience been?
It's hard to describe. There's just so much growth in watching your kids start with something small and then just making it their own and having the passion. She's definitely, it's like trying to find one thing. And I think that's a good sum of it with that summer camp. She just put it all, that's a culmination of a lot of the stuff that she learned over the years and just went out and did so much and said, there's no limit. But I've got to push myself harder to get to this. And no matter how many times she maybe didn't get to where she wanted to be, she just kept pushing until she did. And I think that's a really important thing for all our scouts, just to know, whether you're boy, girl, whatever, you go out there, the leaders learn that, they go out there and they help these kids go and do these amazing things, these little feats, these adventures. I think the big difference between LA and here is we've had more to do. We've had, I think the Pacific Northwest is just grander. I think you have more choices and options to go camping and doing. And
part of that was because COVID had hit so fast before we were then really settling into our journey that we didn't have those opportunities to really expand and understand what things we had in California.
Yeah, but I think they're more outgoing.
Well, you guys also have a lot of nice trees and water. California's a little dry
and hot.
Yeah.
I think parents get it when you see your kids are they join a sport, or you have them in Little League, like with Riley or one of our kids, or you have your daughter in soccer or something, or different things, softball, and you just see them take off from there, and they feel that. You see that stamina, the perseverance, you know what, here, I felt like I didn't have a good game, and then later on realizing, you learn from that and you did better the next time. And just, little by little, your writing skills, being able to talk with people, communication's been so important.
Well, I think it's the most fun, when you're able to think about what you've done and say, oh my goodness, throughout all this difficulty, I was able to accomplish something so wonderful. I think that was especially for the summer camp. I couldn't believe I earned Nightmare Magic. I think some of them weren't even planned to get earned, and they just happened to fit my plan. But then also my Eagle project was I didn't even know if I'd be able to do it. I kept going back and forth and being like, do you think it's possible?
Well, tell us about what was the plan? And did you have to, so many kids had to pivot during COVID. It was all these Eagles that I talked to, they all had to change so much. So tell me more about your project.
Well, actually, I was pretty close to Life Scout when COVID hit. So because of COVID, my Life Scout journey was so long because I couldn't really find the resources or the energy, I guess, to, get on to finish that.
Nothing else on moving.
Yeah, that too.
But you didn't exactly pick on.
But I had already thought of ideas for my project by then, because it had been such a long process. And I knew I wanted to do something that helped the people. I initially wanted to do something for the homeless, but I was kind of against it, just because of how difficult that can be. So I ended up settling on emergency kits for my high school. This was right around when there was a lot of school shootings, and I really want to do something in the medical field. So I figured, well, if my school didn't have emergency kits for each of their classrooms, that's something I can contribute to help them be more emergency prepared.
Yeah, I was like,
Wasn't
my initial plan was to make 27 of them, because of so many classes I remember discussing. And I went to go tell this to my Eagle Scout mentor, and he was like, 27? And I think you should drop it 10, 17, maybe 12.
But I was like, can't you pick a different kind of
That's what I was going to say. I was going to go back and say, you had all these options.
Yeah.
Most scouts do have these things to go and do and pick an Eagle project. And you decided to pick one that wasn't as easy.
No.
Or it was more of a challenge, but you pooled your resources together.
I think the most important thing is that if you're going to be doing this project, don't just do it to get it done. Pick something that you'll love, that you'll enjoy doing. And for me, I didn't want to go make a bench or make something out of materials, because that was not something that I was passionate about. So I wanted to make something that would medical oriented that just happened to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't something you settled on.
Yeah.
Something that was well
yeah,
thought out.
yeah.
You did.
I think that's the most important thing when choosing a project is making sure.
Tell me some of the other things. What have you learned throughout sort of this process?
Yes. I think one of the hugest things was it was super hard because I chose to such a weird project, I guess you could say.
Well thought.
I
Well, it had, you had to give buckets for lows.
yeah. Yeah, it went everywhere, but it was such an interesting project to choose because I couldn't just ask other Eagle Scouts what they did because a lot of what I was doing was brand new to a lot of people I knew. So I figured out I needed an IEN number. Yes.
Oh yeah. Same.
Tax number. I needed this number. I was like, what is this? Why do I need this? Why am I going to get it? So I ended up finding
And it was during the summer.
Yeah, it was during the summer. It was just all these different things popped up. And as far as like, what companies do you contact to get these donations? And are they going to reply? Are they not going to reply? How much do you push to get a reply? It's like all these different things trying to figure out who could support you. That was super difficult. So I think the main thing I really learned was just continuously trying, no matter what the odds are, because like I said, a lot of it was kind of unknown. We didn't know if this was going to work out. We didn't know if this company was going to respond. I think we could really rely on. And I think just by pushing and continuing to try, I was able to complete.
You started somewhere.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But this thing's kind of cool.
The beginning. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of advice with that summer camp too, because I was asking all the leaders, because this was my first experience, because my son did not go to Eagle, and I was a Girl Scout. So, so I'm like, okay, what do we do? Because she's got this project.
Yeah, and you thought of a first aid kit that wasn't just a first aid kit.
No.
You thought of things that were, like blankets and some supplies and water and things that go into it. And maybe exactly.
Yep.
And using the buckets for another purpose.
We used a lot of resources. I contacted a lot of grocery stores like Chuck's and Grocery Outlet, even Target. They all really came in. Oh, and New Seasons. We just had this new one built in downtown Vancouver.
Yeah.
And they gave me $200. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
A lot of support.
Yeah, and then also trying to figure out what type of food we could do that would last. We had to do something that could last. That was
And not allergies.
Yeah, allergies too. That was the hard thing with allergies because a lot of the non-perishable foods like peanuts are what are they?
Dry goods.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, like gluten allergies. A lot of those type of jerky. Like that's kind of hard to accommodate a classroom.
And dates. You had a list of everything that would have to expire that you would have to rotate. Plus, you thought about the radios.
Yeah. So because some of the resources we couldn't really get from companies nearby, I ended up setting up an Amazon wish list where people I knew could donate and help us with the project. And I think that's what really came through for me in the end.
You also use McClure app.
That too, yeah. We ended up advertising on social media, and I went to a lot of school functions and advertised the PTSA, and that's cool to get to know.
And then, she also was part of the Key Club at our high school.
Yeah, oh my goodness. When we actually had our day to put all the kits together, I had told my Key Club, I had scheduled it so right after one of the meetings with the club, but if they wanted to come and help, they could. And I think we had like 35 people. 35 people.
Such a response.
It was such a huge amount.
We had no idea.
But she had to, guide and did it. Yeah.
She got the message out. She didn't know what the result was. I think. And then she got the feedback too.
So that's what I ended up having fun to get.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I'm like, I was expecting 15.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Such a great turnout. And the kids were great. And they all worked well together. You know, so many of them.
It was done really quickly. Yeah. All the buckets were done.
And then they also had to go up and down.
They went up. That was done.
So delivered to all these 27. She ended up getting 27.
The thing is that I thought there were 27 classrooms, but it turns out there was actually much fewer. So we ended up putting some extra buckets into like the office, to like the staff room, and other places that might need them. So it actually ended up being more than just the classroom, but other staff facilities, which I thought was actually quite nice.
And you talked to the principal, I think it was about a year ahead, right?
Yeah.
It was a long...
Probably like probably the year I was there or the year after.
Yeah.
But this one I like said, I want to do this project. Can I do it? It's a possibility. And he was like, go.
A lot of preparation.
So
But then she got busy with high
yeah,
school.
I joined Running Start, and that just was so difficult to try to manage everything.
Yeah.
So I ended up just, all right, I think it was like that summer of my 18th birthday. I just was like, this is getting done. I'm not waiting. I'm not going to let this slide. I've been working on it. I've been thinking about it. I'm just going to do it. So I ended up, I had like even like done like the proposal and things like previous summers, but it just finally that summer, I was like, everything's done, submitted. I'm going to start this project. I'm going to contact companies.
Your leaders have been very supportive of all your ideas and thoughts, and they've come in and helped you out. You've also had, I think there's just a lot of heart in the community, and not that, but in her troop. The troop really pulled through.
Everybody, that was one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
How,
You have a passion, and see everybody else say, that's a thing that we want to help.
Yeah.
We want to do that.
And then another fun thing was trying to get the board review done.
Oh, yeah.
For the due date of the Eagle Scholarship. And then we got snowed in.
that should have gone down like there. But because of the snow, she had to go back.
Yeah, because I'm healthy in my office.
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot going on.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was actually on a computer screen with her board review.
I said, I'm going to bring a computer. We'll just do this online. You're going to be there. You're going to one way or another. We're going to find a way to do that.
Yeah.
Lots of teamwork around the horn, right? With the troop and with family and everybody helping each other out.
I want to say we're very supportive of Kaeley, but she's also very supportive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of, it all works around, and all these kids do amazing things.
What else have you learned, in not just with the Eagle Project, because that's a big task, of course, but just kind of in general, like I'll ask you first, what have you learned? And then I'd love to hear from the parental units here. What do you think? How has she evolved and changed and whatnot through the scouting process?
Yeah, I think one of the hugest things was being able to work at the summer camp. I think that changed me a lot because I was super young. I hadn't really gone to a summer camp before. So I was kind of just thrown right into everything all at once, basically. And I think like the hugest thing was, learning, I find new merit badges, but connecting with people from all parts of the world, city of states, but then also trying to communicate with younger scouts, I found was increasingly difficult because it's like you have to teach differently depending on who you're teaching. I know the older scouts, they're more mature, so you can teach them and they'll respect you, but you kind of have to earn it for the little ones because they want to have fun, they want to, know this material, have a great experience. And I think that was one of the hugest things I learned was being able to interact with and understand different perspectives.
And what do you guys think that she has learned, or what have you sort of seen in her since throughout scouting?
It's tough to just pick like one thing or one moment, but you see your kids grow, and I think you identify and see what they go after as a kid, and you hope that they stay with that. And I think one of the things Kaeley has picked up throughout whatever she's tried to do is determination. I mean, just watch her and say, I want to be a cardiologist. I want to be a doctor. And then eventually just kind of get steered. And you think she's going to make a few different changes and maybe not end up wanting to be a doctor. In this case, she did kind of go into the medical field, but she decided to become, can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
One. Forensic pathologist. Forensic pathologist. There we go. There we go.
It's a unique choice. That was so sure. And how did you make that choice?
Well, I was kind of being torn with, because I wanted to be a cardiologist. I had ever since I was in elementary school. But the thing I was like conflicted about is that I wanted to be available. I wanted to support my community. I wanted to travel. I wanted to learn other things. And I felt that being a cardiologist, although it's such a great career, would limit me to what I could do because of the demanding hours and what's required of them. So kind of in this mindset, I went to Hawaii and met my one of my cousins. He had a farm over there, and he told me about his job. He is a forensic pathologist, and he told me if I could smell if I could turn his compost, which he kills he kills mongooses because they steal the chicken, they kill the chicken. He said, if I could turn this compost, stir it up a little bit, and I would be okay, he said, you could probably be a forensic dog. Sure enough.
So he actually let her participate with him once she turned 18. So she's then 7.
She survived.
Yeah, she survived.
Well, at that point, you just know, wow, I've got a passion for this. I just keep going.
So, Mom, what have you seen? How have you seen Kaeley?
Well, I mean, I have 3 children, and Kaeley has, it's amazing what Scouts has done for her. I see the independence because I was so busy with the kids and supporting the house and all that stuff, but she's really learned to be independent and resourceful, and then the challenge that she likes to give herself. She never takes nothing is as simple for her. She has to always make it the hardest possible. But I think that's great because then she really appreciates what she gets out of it at the end.
The most challenging. I don't know if the word's hard, but she changes challenging.
Yeah.
And she does it, everything from cooking. She'll come up and say, I want to make a tiramisu. I've got to make a tiramisu. I don't know if I did it come out right, but Kaeley has this way of making the chemistry work and then cooks it. And it comes out. This is your first try? And I'm like, what? This is amazing.
Speaking of some fun things, what have been some of your favorite adventures?
Well, I guess we just did the sea-based Bahamas. I feel like it was just now, but during spring break we did sea-based Bahamas. That was my first high adventure. I had wanted to do more high adventure, but it's hard fitting it into my schedule. But that was super amazing. Be on a boat in the middle of nowhere, to be able to dive into the water to see like sunken boats and things, by like coral reefs, you see animal life. Like there was this turtle, I think it was named Terry, and he would just always be around us. It was so funny here.
And I was terrified.
Yeah,
I was hoping she wouldn't see it.
I had gone to a meeting and they said, sea-based Bahamas. And I was like, sea-based Bahamas?
I darn it. Because normally I send her things. Not what I cut it.
Yeah, I'm super glad I did it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't wait till she was back on land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had like this really bad tan because I worked at the summer camp in California, so super hot during summer. I tan, and I had this very olive dark tan.
And you had the sock.
Oh, and I had the sock because a lot of summer camps you wear long socks. So I had like a tan here, and then a tan for my shorts, and then a tan for my socks. So I was literally locks of tan.
It's great.
I think what was cool about the summer camp though is that that first year she actually made the programs for these young kids.
Yeah, for NYLT, we were the pilot course for all NYLT, I guess, all over, really. So that was super amazing to be able to run this, test this pilot course to give to all these other NYLTs who adopt it and make the great program out of it. Because NYLT for me, at least in California, was such a great opportunity, so much fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, she wanted to do it all 3.
I did. It was too hard.
Yeah, she did too. You did too.
Yeah, it was hard because the third year I had now started doing full-on running stick. So initially I had just done a couple of college classes with my high school, but I did full-on college then. And that was super difficult
because school in California ends earlier.
Yeah.
So she actually had to finish her stuff in Washington early and work with the teachers so that she could go to the camp. So, yeah.
And for those who don't know, NYLP is National Youth Leadership Training, and it's basically an adult level training experience that's actually run by and for youth, right?
For youth, correct? Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit more about that experience, about what are you trying to teach the younger scouts and whatnot?
Well, a lot of it's like leadership and being able to work with each other to create solutions. Like we have a lot of games that make you work with your teammates, even though they might be difficult. And then there's a lot of lectures as well, talking about how you can be a good communicator or, be able to do speeches, or, problem solve. And a lot of it is like you're basically taking your own patrols. And then at the end of this journey, they award like the Hatchet Award to, for me, it was at least 2 patrols I got it because we had to be split into like a red and a blue team. And this was like the troop that had the most leadership involvement. I like they showed the most of that, the values that were there. But I personally really loved it. Not as just, I met so many people, but not as just like a participant, but actually being able to work, even though like long hours trying to prepare for this, it was really nice seeing how everything came together and seeing everybody enjoy it.
Sounds like you've had quite the experience in scouting. You've had some incredible leadership opportunities and great adventures, and you have seen her grow and blossom. And it's really all these activities. These activities are keeping our kids busy.
I have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she's looking forward to doing venturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's 21. The man's
On the bus.
Yeah.
Being there for the scout.
And then I think she's enjoying working with the kids now because she's now an adult leader.
I think that's my favorite thing. It was kind of cool to see yourself in them. And that, I used to be here. I used to not know. Just starting to learn the fun things, make connections. And
It doesn't matter like if you have 20, 30 or how many patches. There's no patch I can define. There's so many things, experiences that don't culminate in patches, but every scout, I think all of us.
I think that's the best thing about scouting is that you can make your own journey with scouting. There's so many opportunities and different directions you can go in.
You make it up another way.
Yeah.
And giving back.
It's like not just like one way to scout.
That's great. I was going to ask, what if you were to tell somebody why they should join scouts? You just kind of said it.
Yeah.
If as parents, one of the things that we talk about is there's so many parents out there who don't have any experience with scouting. Or maybe, grandpa did scouting, I think. So what would you parents say to other parents? Like, why should anybody join scouting? Why should you get your kids involved with scouting?
It's not about why, it's about just jumping. I think that the whole thing is get started and you'll find out, because it's just one thing after another. It'll just come to you, and talking to the other parents. Once you get involved, it's the support of not just the truth, the kids, it's the parents, and getting together and identifying and finding out. And then you learn, and how do I do this? How do you get here? It's like being in school. It's so much more, I can't find the words. Family. It's family driven stuff.
Yeah, for me, you don't get the opportunities in regular life that you can get with Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember my son got to go to this printing press and see the back end of everything. That's not something a person, if you're not in Scouts, is going to get the opportunity. Or she, in Girl Scouts, she went in the back of the grocery stores and saw the whole production behind the scenes. Again, it's not something you're going to get. And then all the other parts of it, leadership and learning things that you didn't know you could do on yourself. You're not going to get exposed to it without having those opportunities. And it's hard to get that at school or, just at home. We don't have that same skill set that other people can offer to the kids. So that's why I like scouting.
The why becomes more powerful later when you realize what your kids are doing.
Well, the problem is to help people grow and to learn.
And find their passion.
Yeah.
That's what I love about these merit badges is that, I don't know how to do this, but this looks like it could be fun. Like, I remember getting my scouts off and then going all the way to the back with the list of all the merit badges and then putting this little bubble to the ones that I wanted to do. And it's fun now looking back at all those bubbles and seeing which ones I actually didn't do. Something so amazing. And
you see the energy and these kids, your kid and other kids, and you just want that energy to keep flowing. And so as parents, we all support, you keep that energy going. There's no no. There's just like, what can we do?
What I just thought of? One of the amazing merit badges on here. I don't actually have it. I was working on it, but I was able to fly.
Oh yeah, that was
hundreds of those.
Yeah.
Aviation merit badge. I never had an interest in aviation, never thought about it, but I could fly a plane. Sorry?
Yeah, she actually got to be in the pilot.
That
seat.
was
Like,
amazing. That was so fun.
They rotate. I remember that. And
Be up so high in the sky and have your hands on the steering wheel and just having the headset too. That was such a really cool, immersive experience. Like, it made me think maybe I should learn how to fly a plane.
yeah, but as I said, it's things you all get.
Yeah.
Just going through life, that's what I like about it.
There are so many opportunities.
Yes.
So unlimited. Thank you.
I believe that too. I drinking the Kool-Aid all the time, of course, and it's great to hear from you folks. What you got out of it, and to see you have this great experience, and obviously have achieved so much. So congratulations to you on that, on the scholarship, of course, and getting your Eagle Scout, and welcome to the club as well. Okay, that's awesome, and really, really, we're all proud of you. Everybody is, of course, and thank you guys so much for being here, just sharing your story, as I like to say, your scouting expedition.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. I love getting to hear everybody's story is unique. It's like the choices you got to make out of all the merit badges and whatnot. And it's great to hear that you found some passions and things you enjoyed and loved and great memories. And so that's really how they all share here. Yeah. So well, thanks for joining us, guys. And can't wait to see what happens next with you.
Yes, definitely.
Today we have Logan McClure, who is one of our Eagle Scout scholarship winners, and his dad here as well, and Lyndon, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their scouting expedition. Super excited to have you guys here. Welcome. Let's start with you, Lyndon. Let's start with how did you get involved with Scouts? You told me you were in Scouts as a kid, so tell me a bit more about that.
Sure. I grew up in a very small town in Maine, and being outdoors was just part of our life. I love the outdoors. I love to experiment with all the learning that come with that, but our scouting program wasn't very continuous. We would have a scoutmaster come in for a little while, and then they'd leave, and so we never had a chance to have a really contiguous experience. But I had a chance to participate in a lot of the basic things and work my way up towards first class. But at that point, our program kind of ended because our scoutmaster went off to New Zealand.
Well, that's a little ways away. It's kind of hard to bring the troop along with you to New Zealand. Right?
Exactly.
And so then, Logan, how did you get involved with Scouts?
Well, it was always kind of my dad planting the seed and my brothers and I when we were really young. So he had us started with some of the basic requirements. I can't really remember what it was called. But once we moved to Oregon, when I was in third grade, we found out that there was a Cub Scout pack at my school, Pack 598. And so he decided to sign us up. He convinced us to try it out, and 9 years later, here I am.
And tell me a bit more about what are some of the memories you have about scouting itself? What could be adventures or relationships you've had, or whatever it is. What are the things that sort of stick out in your mind about your scouting experience?
Man, that's a really tough question because there's just so much I could talk about. I've definitely gained a lot of leadership skills from scouting. I think that's number one is confidence and communication skills and being able to kind of have that service mindset to kind of guide me through my life. And then on top of that, there's, camping, big fan of my Philmont experience, and just growing up through all the ranks and learning all the skills. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about some of the skills you've learned and some of the, you mentioned leadership and things like that. So what specifically, I guess, do you feel like you've taken away from the program, and maybe something that's helped you with what you're doing now? And tell me a bit about what you're doing now.
All right. I guess I'll start with kind of the big takeaways I've gotten from leadership experiences. I've held over 9 leadership positions so far. I've kind of kept pushing myself to take more on, and held 3 positions at the ASPL and 1 position at the SPL. And so definitely a lot of time as a leader, and just interacting with the troop and figuring out how to plan meetings, and then figuring out where to go when things go wrong, just being able to recover from mistakes, thinking, months ahead, and thinking where to take the troop. All these are really practical skills. And I've been using them in my everyday life. I've been using them in leadership positions at school. I am serving as the co-president of Junior State of America, the club at, it's basically a debate club at my school, and also the vice president of the National Mathematics Society. So many applications of my leadership skills. Could you remind me what the second part of the question was?
And yeah, how about some of the experiences you've had, whether it could be great adventures, or what are the things that stick out in your mind in terms of some of the memories you have of scouting?
Right. Well, the first one is probably the most recent one, is leading my Eagle project. I was able to bring together my whole school to do a service project to capture the diversity of my school. I attend the International School of Beaverton, and we have some 850 plus students from grade 6 through 12. But in that small group of people, we have over 40 languages spoken. So we have people from all over the world. And so I got to brainstorming with my principal and my scout leaders. Big shout out to my principal, Andrew Guilford, and also scout leaders, Keith Covington and Debbie Black. They were a big part of that. But I got to get some of my friends, and we made this interactive map. It was we installed a display case in the front hallway. We put in a world map. I got the art club to help me create murals to capture the diversity. It ended up being a mural of students giving flowers to each other as a symbol of peace. And all these students are representing different cultures, which is really cool. And then the finishing touch was we had a 1 hour kind of activity with all 850 students and teachers as well. They got to explore what it means to appreciate diversity, and then they all got a little pin, and they got to place their pin where they feel connected to in the world. And as you can imagine, with over 40 languages spoken, we now have I'd say around 900 pins all over the world map.
Wow, that is really unique. I mean, that is not like digging ditches or clearing a trail, that's really it's really special. What motivated you to find something unique like that? Why choose that versus something that may be more typical, if you will, or something stereotypical that folks might think about in terms of an Eagle Scout project?
Right. I think of two things. The first thing is it really comes down to what community you really want to serve and how best you can serve them. And I feel like I have made a home at ISB, and school has become such an important part of my life. And I wanted to give back. And so that's kind of the first thing, is how can I best give back to the school? And that's when I stumbled on this idea of getting all the students involved, because really the people I was serving was the students. And if I can help them feel more connected in this kind of cohesive appreciation of our diversity, the better. And the second part I mentioned was I wanted to try to see if I could get this long term, like not just this generation of ISB students, but years down the line. And so the way that we designed the project was so that every year, all the incoming students will receive a pin and participate in that same activity. And the map will be an updating representation for every year's kind of community. So my hope is that it'll be an annual tradition cemented at our school for the next decades to come.
Yeah, and it really is brilliant. Now, what did you think? What did you think, Dad? Were you surprised? Were you not surprised?
Well, I think that it's very clear that Logan has an affinity for his school. He loves it. He spends a lot of time helping and being involved. And he really has a passion for being a good friend to his classmates and helpful to his teachers. So it didn't surprise me that he identified ISB as the place for his project. In terms of his vision for having a project that lives on for multiple years, I think that was a little surprising, and I think it's really nice. He spent a lot of time figuring out this tradition and how to involve each new batch by having a different color pin for each year at school. So it was very clear by looking at the board what years are represented in the different parts of the world. I liked it.
And we are actually going to have to show that video that you made. Did you make it, or did you have a friend to create that video?
I worked with a friend because I wanted to really outsource and get as many students involved. So I got one of my best friends, and we reached out to a school district videographer as well. Special thanks to Colin Elliott for that. And he brought in video equipment, and that's how we produced the video. I got both of their help.
Awesome. And we are absolutely going to show that. We'll actually show that next, and then we'll come back to the podcast.
My name is Logan McClure. I am an 11th grader at the International School of Beaverton. So this project was part of my Eagle project and CAST projects here at ISB. When I was starting to think about what project I wanted to do, I talked with Mr. Guilford, the principal, and we were thinking that the school needed a representation of the diversity of the students at our school. So over the last few months, I've been working with both students and staff to create this representation of the very many places around the world that our students and staff come from. Here on the map, we were able to give every student a pin. We had each student take their pin and place it on a place of big significance to them. That could include a place where they were born, where their parents were born, where their parents came from, all sorts of different things. And with each of their pins, students placed it around the map, and now we have pins all over the world.
My name is Annika Enriquez. I'm in 10th grade and I go to ISB. I placed my pin in Quezon City, Philippines. That's where I grew up. That's where my grandma and my whole family is from.
My name is Nadia. I'm a junior at the International School of Beaverton. I placed my pin in Krakow, Poland, and I placed it there because I'm half Polish.
My name is Abiola Adisa. I placed my pin in Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, that's a lot.
I thought the map pinning was really cool because I always heard that ISB was a really diverse place, but to actually see it like right in front of my face was really cool.
You know, I think it gives us perspective as to how special and different ISB is as a school.
So this project will be an annual tradition at our school. Every incoming student will be able to get a pin and participate in this tradition. Every year we'll be able to see what the diversity is of our school.
Well, it is really amazing to see your project in action and see the students engage with it like that. It's like interactive in an old school way, and that's just really, really fun, and but yet so visual to see that, and the idea of this thing lasting year over year. That's what's really, really fun. So the kids will get to see all the different where people are from all over the world and all of that. That's really great. Now, what's sort of your passion? Where are you headed in terms of your studies or whatnot?
That's a good question. I'm still currently trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to give back to my communities in the future. I'm going to be studying electrical and computer engineering. I think I have a lot of STEM skills, but particularly something that I found through Scouts is I really enjoy bringing people together to help others. I really realized that with my Eagle project, but even through all my leadership positions, I just really want to, make a positive difference in the world. And so somehow I'm going to figure out how to use my STEM skills and also my leadership skills to innovate some solutions to some of the world's problems.
That's great. So, Dad, what have you seen? How have you seen? Now, he's your oldest, right? You just told me that before the podcast. So you have how many other?
I have 3 sons, all in high school, and Logan is the first through, and then Levi and Laszlo will be coming through in 2 years and 3 years from now.
Nice, excellent. And how have you seen? Well, maybe all the kids evolve or change. How have you seen scouting really affect maybe Logan's life?
Sure, it's been an amazing journey. When I was looking at my sons starting to get to an age where they could do things that were manual and they had a facility of learning, I was trying to understand what I could do to help them learn. And I wanted them to learn things that they weren't just learning in the school program. So I was thinking, what could they do? Could they learn small engine repair? Could they learn how to do things that, spanned a whole range of technologies and jobs, professions? And then I realized that the fact is the scouting program has all these wonderful merit badges. And I was saying, somebody thought about this years ago, and they put together this wonderful program that gave students a chance to sample all these different skills and to develop a little bit of knowledge on these things that then they can take forward if they want to. And I said, I don't have to create this program. I just have to go to scouting. You take a look at your children as you drop them off to the first meeting of Cub Scouts, and everyone's running around and doesn't have a sense of order or what they're doing, just trying to focus on fun and then starting to build in some basic skills. And then over the years, you just watch, and it's amazing to see them develop this sense of responsibility. And they were, Logan was in Troop 618, which was a scout-led troop. And so the scouts were responsible for organizing all the events and the meetings. And to watch them step up and figure out how to be leaders and organize and to make things happen, what an amazing transition. So I look at Logan and his batch when they started, and then I watched them as they attained the higher ranks, and what a growth. Amazing.
Tell me a bit about some of your other memories, maybe about some adventures. You mentioned Philmont, and because scouting is also known for the outdoors, and we always talk about, like, we use the outdoors as our classroom. So just tell me a bit about that, and how has your how have your leadership skills sort of helped out in maybe some of those endeavors as well?
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus on Philmont. I think that's kind of the pinnacle of my outdoor experiences, and a good example of how I've kind of learned more about my leadership. I had the pleasure of serving as crew leader for our 2022 trek of 12 people. And I really do want to give credit to that 12 people or the 11 other people in that crew, because we were just such a united group of people. They warned us that there was 4 stages to a Philmont trek. And one of those stages is the storming phase, when everybody's just in conflict. But I really do think that thanks to that group of people and hopefully some of the leadership skills I've been implementing, that we ended up not having a storming phase at all. It was just honeymoon all the way through. But yeah, that was a great way to not only test my physical endurance and all the physical skills I've been learning through Scouts. You know, tying knots every day. Don't forget about tying knots. That's a big part. And then, it's wake up early, get your packs ready. We're gonna go hike this route, and then delegating roles. It's just a big list of things to keep in mind, and definitely it was a great way for me to kind of hone my leadership skills. And then other than that, I think, don't forget to appreciate the outdoors. Philmont was beautiful. And if you're a scout and you're wanting to go to Philmont, or even considering it, highly recommend it. It's a great opportunity. And particularly summiting Mount Baldy was one of the most satisfying experiences ever. That was a 12-mile day, but it was worth pushing through to the top and then being able to trace all the way back to the beginning. Yeah. So kind of a brief summary of that experience.
So that's excellent. 12 miles in a day is not the easy. It's easy in a car, but not so when you're hiking. You think, oh, it's so short. And then, oh, no, it's all day. That's great. Good. Glad to hear it. And so a lot of folks out there have maybe not heard, maybe they've heard of scouting, but we're discovering these days that a lot of people actually don't know about scouting, or maybe their grandpa did it, or maybe dad did it, but they don't really know about it. And so what would you both say to another a parent about why join scouting? What should they expect? What should a parent expect out of their kids getting involved with scouting? And we'll start with you, and then for you, Logan, why should somebody that is a 12-year-old, or the kindergartner may not be able to decide, but why should somebody join scouting? So let's start with you, Dad.
Sure. I think that the scouting program is just a wonderful organization and a set of experiences and learning. And when I thought about what I wanted my children to experience, I wanted them to gain skills. I wanted them to have outdoor experiences, to learn how to camp and survive, and all the basics that you get through the merit badges and the rank advancement. It's just a wonderful set of things that you're learning over the years, and it doesn't all come at once. You get out there and you have some maybe not so fun times because you're in the middle of a rainstorm, or you figure out how to find that inner strength and work through it. And just that development over a child's youth is amazing. And I would recommend everybody think heavily about, encouraging their children to take scouting, because I think it's just a wonderful program.
And how about you? What would you say? What have you, let's start with, what have you really gotten out of scouting? Like, you mentioned leadership and things like that, but how has it maybe changed you? And why should a parent think about joining scouting? And maybe why should a kid say, yeah, sure, that sounds awesome, versus, I don't want to do that. I want to sit home and play video games my whole life. So,
Yeah, I think on the surface, it's definitely one of the big appeals of scouting is just the pure fun. It's just, you're going to go on so many adventures, you're going to have so many experiences, and it's just a natural part of scouting as you're trying to complete all those rank advancement requirements. So many different things you need to do, but it's super fun to do it along the way. But at a deeper level, I think, I mentioned this previously, but one of the biggest takeaways I've had from scouting is discovering kind of my life mission to me is to serve others. It's just resonated with me so much through the spirit of service with scouting. And I think it has been just a wonderful realization that I love helping people and freeing them together to serve others. And if there's one other thing I want to mention, it's the other end of that. I've been blessed with such a great scouting community with Troop 618 and even Pack 598. And as I've been leading projects, and especially with my Eagle project, when all the students and staff were so receptive to that service effort, I've just kind of gained an appreciation of the genuine kindness that a lot of people have. And I think it's something that people often take for granted. I think if you can look past kind of, that harder face that people put up sometimes, if you try to bring them together to do something for the common good, you'll often find some, generally open and receptive people that are willing to help you accomplish that. So, like, I've loved service, but also I've learned that, there's a lot of kindness in the world, and I really appreciate that.
Well, on that positive note, I think that's about as a great ending as you can get. That's such a very sweet sentiment, and it's so great that you have experienced that. And that's a unique thing that's different from other people's experience. Everybody's experience is different, but that is a special piece that you're sharing with everybody and have experienced. And I think it's lovely and wonderful. And we hear so many different stories, and people have experienced so many different things. And the service it really is inherent in what we do. Even though we don't tell the kids that all the time, that they're going to do this, they're going to do a bunch of service projects. So we don't tell them that right off the bat. But the funny thing is that after a while, it just becomes a part of how you do this thing called scouting and who you become. So it's really great to hear that. Yay, you do believe. Anyways, that's awesome. That's great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you guys being here today. And we can't wait to see what happens next with you. You're going to go off either to what schools again? What were you saying before?
Currently considering Oregon State University and University of Washington. I think I'm leaning towards Oregon State University.
All right. Go Leaves. Go on with Coog. But that's okay. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Congratulations again. That's really, really fantastic on your Eagle project and your Eagle Scout Award and the scholarship, of course, and to your next adventures. And congratulations to Dad as well, and to your whole family, of course. And can't wait to see what happens with the rest of the siblings too. So thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks everybody for being here, and we will see you next time. Say bye. Bye.
Where's like to here's it?